Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. RealLifeSci-Fi.show for all of our stuff. Go to patreon.com/reallifesci-fi. Get 2 bonus episodes a week. And let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. It's our good friend. He's coming back. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time, maybe more. It's writer for film and television, Ryan Ridley. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, what's up, Wade? Sorry, I'm still trying to plug the show. I realized if I write this and then I have it just sitting here, then they can go to the live stream instead of sitting here watching me have a one-way conversation. What's up?
Also, yeah, I should tell the audience, we've been streaming these on Twitch, so subscribe to twitch.tv/reallifesci-fi. You never know when we're going to pop up because now we're just kind of like freelance. We just kind of do it whenever. So if you subscribe, you could probably get some notification or something and then see us.
So apparently this thing is backwards. This is coming in my camera backwards. What? How do I
set up a series of mirrors?
Oh yeah. Put up a mirror because for Twitch, for your Instagram, it's gonna be backwards.
Okay, I've got it. So now they can't complain and they can just go to what is written on the parking ticket envelope. Okay. What's up?
What'd you park a ticket for?
Yeah, what'd you do? Street cleaning?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no justice, no peace.
I heard about this guy who would just buy a car. Have I talked about this? He would just buy a car for like $500 or whatever, some piece of shit car, and then he would never register it, and he would park it wherever. He would just get parking tickets and get a bunch of tickets on it, and eventually they would just come and tow it away. And then he would just buy another $500 car, and he would never have to pay for insurance, registration, like any of that stuff. It's unethical if you get into accidents or something, but it is kind of cool to like, you could just park wherever you wanted.
Yeah, cheaper.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get pulled over, everything's great.
Yeah. Is that worth the trouble of like having is that more or less trouble than looking for parking?
I feel like it's for if you're very broke and you just don't want to,
or very rich and you could afford to keep buying new cars.
I feel like you would get like a year out of each car for 500. Well, let's say what can you get a car for? Like the cheapest, like $2,000 or something.
Oh, probably not even that, right?
Cheaper.
Well, we got confliction. You think cheap?
Well, I mean, as cheap as someone would sell it to you for, I think is the answer, right?
Picture what I mean. What car is going for $500 these days? Only a car that you can't smog.
Yeah, but you wouldn't smog it. You wouldn't do any of that. You just drive it.
I'm saying like if you can smog your car and like it's a 92 Honda Civic, that's still going for $2,000.
I think I sold my 92 Accord for like $1,200, and that was 10 years ago.
Oh snap! All right.
I just got my 2015 Mazda 3 valued at about $8,000 for trade-in.
And they screw you on trade-ins.
Yeah.
You trying to get something new? It's not bad.
Yeah.
I know, right? For a long time when I was like super broke, I was like, I never posted this, but I always wanted to say, hey, if you're ever going to trade in your car, like, let me know because I'll buy it for a little bit more.
I think also like cars are expensive right now, right? They're still like getting over that whole microchip shortage thing. So cars are like at a premium. Remember the microchip thing from the fucking pandemic and stuff?
I think it's beyond that. Doesn't that also have to do with China?
Everything's got to do with China.
There's a giant new microchip factory that opened up in Arizona. The idea being, if all of our microchips are being made in Taiwan and Taiwan is invaded by China, we're kind of fucked. Yeah. So they're opening up more microchip factories here. And so there's a giant one in Arizona.
Are you in Arizona right now?
Nope. I'm in LA.
Okay.
I'm here till November 15th.
You're leaving for Dave Lyons' birthday. You're like, it's Dave Lyons' birthday. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, I as the ancient Mayans said, on the day of Dave Lyon's 48th birthday, the world will.
Well, just LA, really.
Yeah,
That's why you're going Arizona. Is it Arizona?
yeah.
Or?
Arizona is so fucked that the apocalypse gods are like, never mind. People are melting
been
to the
like-
pavement.
It's already 120 degrees there for like a month straight, right?
We
Yeah,
could take them to
that's
hell,
why.
but it's gonna be cooler there.
Yeah, they'll enjoy it. It'll be a relief. Yeah, that's why I'm not there right now, or ideally never in summer. I've not
Right.
garnered not one addition to the stream.
Right. So if you're
The stream
listening,
from this.
Ridley is trying to get our Twitch chat more active by being on Instagram Live, but he's failing.
Yeah, I mean it's
Okay.
I imagine it's oh nope. Weekend Daddy. says,
Oh,
I'm
there we
here
go.
from
Hey,
Ridley's
weekend
Instagram.
daddy.
All right, let's
What's
start the
up?
show.
All right, thanks, buddy.
For some reason, even one audience, unlike when I did stand up, if you were doing stand up in a room with no audience, if you were doing a room stand up in a room with like 1, 2, even 3 people, it's almost not worth it. But for some reason on a stream, one person feels like enough of an audience. You know?
Well, it's at least someone listening. When we did
Yes.
sketch, we would have way more people on the stage than were in the audience.
Yeah, same with me.
And
Same with me.
it's just like
for a year. Oh, weekend daddy. Yeah, thanks
Oh,
for the follow.
And Babs
Cheers.
and Apocalypse.
Apo.
Apocalypse
We know
then.
Apo. He's one of our
Oh,
regs.
okay, okay, cool. That's
And we
not. I'm not
know-
responsible for Apo.
No, we know his real name, but I never remember it. Willie, do you
It's-
remember it?
It's Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Hi, Aaron. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
For the people who just joined, this is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. You've been on the show a few times. I don't know if you've ever done the WoW scale. Do you remember if you've ever done it?
I think so.
WoW scale.
Are you a Wade or are you a Willie?
The WoW scale stands for Wade or Willie. It's a 5-question quiz. At the end of the quiz, I'll give you a score anywhere between a 0 and a 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willie. Are you ready to be Wade on the WoW scale?
Yes. I wish I would
Okay,
have kept
first-
track of my last number because I think I'm probably have shifted.
I know. That's what everyone says, and we never remember. It's not a big deal. All right, first question, 3-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
I believe in aliens. I do not believe they visited Earth, and I do not believe they visited Earth in the last 300 years.
Woo!
Wow.
Boy, this is gonna be an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. No spoilers, but that applies to what we're talking about today. Second question, ghosts?
No, fuck ghosts, man. That's stupider than aliens. Sorry, I'm trying to
Bigfoot?
figure out how to set this. Definitely not Bigfoot. Don't insult me.
It's just a question, man. It's just a question. Psychics?
No,
Have you ever been to a psychic?
no. I've been to a
Not
tarot
even
card
as
reader.
a cat. What the tarot? How did that go?
So it was at a work party event, and one by one, everybody was walking out of this tarot card reader like shook, and like, oh my god, like I need to reevaluate my life. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna really get my head fucked with. It's almost like, you know, when you're like about to do drugs and like you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't take this pill because look what's happening with this dude. And then I did it. And it was so fucking nothing, like nothing. I related with nothing she was saying. Like, it was changing people's lives, and I was bracing myself, but it was nothing. It didn't even move me an inch. So no.
How could it be that little? Like, what? Do you remember even one thing that they told you?
No. I will say, to be clear at the outset of all this, I am naturally not a skeptic. I think I was born very much a wanting to believe, and I've really trained myself like is this someone who was born with a propensity to, you know, whatever, gain more weight or something like that. Like I've really trained myself to be more skeptical.
Oh, really? You've searched out being, why is that? Were you gullible or something? Did you get caught?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was just gullible, and I don't know. I was talking about this today with a friend of mine. I think that you know, for instance, when it comes to politics, everything going on right now, I don't know if you're aware, but if you really can't, you really can't like be a liberal. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but a liberal who kind of rolls their eyes at QAnon or whatever, election denial, and then just without any research or critical assessment of the story we're going to talk about today, go like, there's aliens, they existed. I saw a guy on Congress, in Congress. I saw a headline about a guy in Congress saying there's aliens, done, case closed. It's like,
Yeah.
well, then whatever you want to believe, you're going to believe that quickly and vehemently based on even less evidence if, you know, you're ready to go all in on the David Grusch story, you know?
God, that's such a good segue. I almost hate to answer or ask this last question. Do you believe that we live in a simulation or any part of the simulation?
Fuck no. That I resent that actually, because that to me is offensive, because the world is so much more interesting if we're not in a simulation. It's just more interesting to evaluate the reality of like how life on Earth, let alone the planet Earth, let alone the entire cosmos, formed naturally, than the fact that we're all in a giant computer that's made by aliens or other humans or whatever the fuck.
Both could be true.
That there's still a real world out there, that we're just the avatars of a simulated version of it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there is a version where it's like, where a simulation, meaning not a computer, just like an experiment or something, and they're like, let's see what happens if we blow up this star, and then the fucking universe formed, and they're like, whoa.
See, a version that I could get into would be maybe that it's really more because like when you picture a simulation and you say computer, it's just like there's no way we can fathom though what that version would be if it were real. And I'm like, the version that I can kind of lean into would be maybe, and it's not an entity that built something that we were put into, but it's just kind of the way that like consciousness agreeing to like separate from the source kind of thing, where it's more like an organic computer, which, you know, I don't know. I don't really believe in simulation theory, but I'm like, I know that if there was something close to what it would be like, I couldn't even comprehend.
Yeah, but you can't comprehend any of these big fucking thoughts. Like comprehend God, you know?
Yeah.
Can't do
Go
it.
for it.
Go.
Try
do
it.
Comprehend.
Comprehend Bigfoot.
Look in the mirror.
If I believed in simulation, I would automatically be off the WoW scale on the Willy side of the spectrum.
No, it's not black or white. We each agree with various things in there. So for instance, I'm a 1 because I do kind of like simulation theory, and Willy's like a 4 or something like that. So like he's not even a 5. I'm not even a 0. It's 0 to 5.
Oh wow!
But we're not even, you know, the
because
polar.
Yeah. So because you don't believe in simulation theory, Willy, you're a 4, and because you do, Wade, you're a 1. But if in theory those positions were reversed, you'd be a 0 and a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Even though ironically, simulation theory would explain everything
All
else.
of it. Yeah. Wait, before we get to the topic, this I am the real Shevin has a couple questions for Ridley here.
Yeah. And of course I remember Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Thank you for reading this, because I kept looking over and I was really getting distracted, and I was like, shit.
We've got an hour, so answer them real quick and then we'll move into the topic.
By the way, I noticed I've got 1 viewer on my Instagram and at least, you know, a handful are in the chat. So that means I've successfully transferred the audience from It's working. My promotion.
That was the
working.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Congrats.
Great. Thank you. Sorry. So, what was you're gonna answer Kevin's question or
Well,
ask
you
it, I guess?
can. I mean, he's asking you stuff.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts that the aliens are connected to our oceans? Like a lot of the sightings are over water, and when the Navy investigates, there's no crash site in the distance in the ocean. So, I mean, no spoilers, but I'm coming at this as a complete skeptic, as a 5 on this wow scale, I guess. 4.5 because like I want to be more agnostic than atheist. Oh, sorry, 0.
Yeah, you got it wrong. You're 0.
0.5.
0.5. And that's actually what your score is too. You're like a 0.5.
Oh, great. So if I already have said that I don't believe aliens have ever come to Earth, so whether that's by space or by sea or by interdimensional means, then that's all the same to me. No.
Okay.
I love it.
I mean,
love that you
also
specified interdimensional. Also, that's great.
Well, I know that's one of David Grusch's theories, and a lot of people theories.
Okay, well, let's get
Right.
into the topic because I know nothing about this. I know of it peripherally, but that's about it. So, Willie, why don't you hit us with that topic?
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, credible UAP whistleblowers recently spoke to Congress to whistleblow all of the UAP shit going down. How credible are these guys? What are we're going to go over some of the things that they said. It's great because we're going to have very different beliefs going into their approach to what they're saying. So tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, this congressional hearing that happened on July 26th to the subcommittee on national security. Let's talk about aliens. So the last time, I don't know if this is the last time you're on, Ridley, but one of the times he was on before, we were talking about this Nimitz account, this Nimitz, the USS Nimitz incident that happened outside of San Diego, where the New York Times and one of the Washington papers had released video of these UAPs saying, like, there's something weird about these. This event happened in 2004. Now we have 3 credible, in my eyes, credible UAP whistleblowers coming forward to Congress to try to get them to open their eyes and point them in the direction on where and how they should look for UAP stuff going forward. And the context is basically that these 3 people have seen things that they describe as otherworldly. We'll get into what they said, but like leaning toward pushing the idea that some of these UAPs were made by non-humans. So, Ridley, what you want to jump first? What are your thoughts? Did you watch this whole thing? It was like 2.5 hours.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched some clips. Well, number one, the congressman from Tennessee, Tim Burchett, who I guess, I don't know, you tell me if you know more, spearheaded this, kind of got this going. This is in front of the House Oversight Committee. And when they took a break from investigating Hunter Biden, they found time for this hearing, which, by the way, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, Jim Comer, who's super into investigating Hunter Biden, was not even attending. So the possibility of aliens existing, not as important as whether Joe Biden is getting bribes from China, whatever the fuck they think. Anyway, this guy, Tim Burchett, was the congressman that seemed to be running the show. And he seems like a real idiot. I find it to be interesting that, like, this is in theory bipartisan, but it really does lean way more Republican. I mean, it's Tim Burchett, who, side note, like, somebody asked a bunch of Congress people their thoughts on the strike, and he was just like, "These spoiled Hollywood people can suck my dick," and I was like, okay, that's all I need to hear to
doesn't know anything
and lose even more credibility. So anyway, it's him, it's Matt Gaetz, who everybody, I assume, knows Matt Gaetz. He's another one of these Trump sycophants from the Freedom Caucus. Anna Luna Polina. and that they're all three are Republicans. Two are from Florida, and then the third or fourth, I guess, person in Congress pushing this is Jared Moskowitz, who's also from Florida. So, like I said, it's in theory bipartisan because of Jared Moskowitz, and I guess AOC asked some questions, but it seems to be a very Florida-heavy contingency, which I don't know if there's any sort of theory there about why so many people from Florida in our government are interested in this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they got all the shuttle launches, right? So Cape Canaveral and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to connect the dots. I mean, I've already connected a few dots with some of these things, but like that, I don't know. I don't have enough information if there's any relevance to Florida. But like I said, I think that it's in a Congress where a good percentage of the Republican caucus believes the election was stolen and whatever else. Like, it's not surprising that they lack.
But it's a bunch of
critical
Republicans. But are they like grilling these two? Like, what side do they seem like they're on?
Yeah, they're the problem is they're not grilling. Also, the hearing did not have any of the witnesses. It was David Grusch, who's the whistleblower. It was David Fravor, who's the pilot who saw the Tic Tac alien, who's from the videos Willie was talking about earlier. And then this other guy, Ryan Graves, I think was another pilot from that same incident. Or a different incident?
He was from the East Coast pilot. You know how one of them was from the West Coast, one from the East Coast. Yeah.
Virginia, yeah. So why isn't there anyone in Congress just having at least one witness there to represent the skeptical position on this?
Well, and so I love that you bring this up, because here's the thing. This is what's sketchy to my mind too. Is it like, how convenient for this to happen now? Because listen, I believe that there are entities visiting us, whether interdimensionally, whether they're intelligent life that existed here on Earth before us, that have technologically more advanced than us, or that have traveled not by driving through space, but whatever means they have that we can't comprehend. I do believe in these things. But the way that the whole UAP UFO story has been unfolded to us throughout its history. What's up, man?
I think you got a UAP behind you.
Is weird, because it feels more like a cover up to either the food shortage coming up or the next war coming up. There's a couple wars coming up from shit going on around the world, but
there's always wars coming up. That's not exactly.
But here's the thing: if you can tell which wars are coming up, become a war profiteer, man. Start investing in whatever Russia's version of fucking. Oh shit! I can't think of our main one.
Well,
like
Brazil and China,
Northrop Grumman,
Chile and China are button heads, and then Brazil, Russia, and China are teaming up. At any rate, and military's budget for next year is like crazy bigger for no reason apparently. Anyways.
Wait, the U.S. military budget for next year?
Yeah.
But Kevin, in the chat, we did do an episode on the aerial school. That's the Australian one, right? Or South Africa or Africa somewhere. Is that the one?
We talked about it. We didn't do an episode on it. It was.
Well, no, I think the one that you should check out is the one with Jason McCarris, where we watched a doc on that thing, and then we talked about it. So just look up the Jason McCarris one.
The standpoint of the congressional hearing was, and this is all fueled because of all of the stuff going on in 2020. That they broke that these UAPs are legit, and that we don't know what they are, and they could be a threat to our security. There's that. And then the NASA hearing that happened earlier this year, where they now have a group of people studying UAP phenomenon, but it's very peculiar and particular, the things that they're studying. There's only some certain approved ones that they're going to be looking at.
But let's talk though more specifically, like what you guys both watched enough of it to have an opinion on it, right? I mean, like, I don't know, because I didn't watch a second of it, but like where you left, like, I want to start with Ridley because like you're talking about how you're super skeptical. So I don't know, just like, what do you think right now?
So, first of all, the big headlines with this stuff are like, there's no evidence, right? There's been zero hard evidence of any of this stuff. It's the testimony was just people who said they saw something, which I think it was just David Fravor who said he saw this tic tac, which, okay, he said he saw something, but that's still not evidence. That's, lots of people say they've seen aliens and ghosts and whatever. Then there's
Thanks for the bets,
David
Kevin.
Grusch. There's David Grusch who said, yeah, because I'm going to be fucking serious as a heart attack on this subject. No bits. David Grusch.
Bits are what Twitch calls cents or something.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, boomer. Me.
So,
wait, he donated money?
yeah, I guess so. I think. I don't know how it works either.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking boomer too. This is what I believe.
I like how you're like, thanks for the bits, Kevin, which is funny in retrospect to think because it's like, what good are his bits on a chat that no one can see? I guess you're just entertained by that.
Thanks for entertaining me while Ridley goes on and on.
So I'll try to be more entertaining and succinct. So zero evidence. All we have is I saw something when I was flying a plane very fast up in the sky.
Yeah.
Somebody told me something, and I'm telling you guys, and I swear it's real. And
well, you've seen the
you wanna
video,
know
right?
more. Well, there's
But video
video that's
doesn't-
not. There's video
The
that
video-
can be debunked. In a
Here's the
certain
thing.
sense, I mean,
This is I'll let you keep going, Ridley, but the videos that they released, the pilots that talked about what these things did, that they do have video of, that part of the video was not released. It's like 0 to 1 million gone, zip, 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 right angles. But the video they did release is like, oh, this thing's traveling this way. That's why in that NASA hearing earlier this year, they were like, oh, did you know that the Go Fast UFO was only going about 30 miles an hour? Not very fast, is it? It's like, that does not matter how fast it was going. What matters is all the other details that they explained that this craft did that is not on the video that was released. The video that's released falls in line with does not break top secret clearance. They're not going to release UFOs. UAPs are top secret, so you can't release video or anything about them in a public setting that reveals why they're top secret. Meaning,
so are you guys on the same page? Do you Ridley? Do you think it's a look over here type thing?
if it is, it's certainly not working. I mean, not many people are really paying attention to it. It's not grabbing the headlines.
That's
I mean,
so
it was
true.
like made like a
That's
little,
so
made
true.
a little bit of a splash.
That's like why I don't know anything about this, because all I do is scroll through headlines and I've seen like nothing about it.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
a
and
very
also-
funny part of it, because I really think that they thought more people would consider everything more credible. And honestly, most people are like, show me the money. Like, you have videos of this shit doing crazy shit, but you won't show us. No one's gonna believe you till they see that.
Well, if you're suggesting that, Willie, that the theory that A, you think that they do have this stuff, but B, they're only doing this because they want to distract from a potential geopolitical conflict. Like, well, I don't. If that's their plan, then why wouldn't they just actually release the stuff?
The real reason why I think this is a look over here is every time they talk about these UAPs, they always bring up how there is a threat. Even in this congressional hearing, they're like, were you threatened about this stuff, whether it be from humans in the military above you, like trying to shut you up, or have you seen UAPs or biologics like threatening people? And the answer was across the board, yes. I personally believe in a lot of the stuff. I think the look over here is, hey, that we need to spend money defending ourselves against this. I believe that there's going to be a UAP crashing with a commercial flight within the next couple years. And the whole reason why it's look over here is because like, hey, you guys should be concerned about this threat to our national security, spend money on it, create new programs. But it clearly is not that, because I believe these things are here and they have not crashed into anything, and they are not, they're always around our nukes, and I believe in those stories, and they're not harming us. They're kind of just throwing their big dick around, being like, hey, we can shut your missiles off and turn them back on, move along. I'm not gonna suggest anything more than that, but go on.
I am glad to hear that they have large dicks. I think that's comforting, because now I can, of course, relate with them.
Yeah, but
they're not
they
so
don't,
different.
But they don't keep them where you think they keep them.
Where do they keep them?
It's just not between their legs. That's all I know. Nobody knows. They know that they're really big, but we're not sure where they are.
What if that's what they've been? What if that's what the Tic Tac was?
Oh, it's the detachable dick.
So hold on, no more bits. I'm not Kevin. So here's what I'm confused by. So Willie, the gist, the headline from David Grusch's testimony was that the United States government, military, private contractors have possession of crashed alien spacecraft and have been undergoing a multi-decade international reverse engineering program. You say bullshit to that.
No.
You believe aliens have been here.
I believe that we've had these things, and it's crazy when you line up all the other stories. Like Bob Lazar was talking about one of the crafts that he may have been hired to reverse engineer was ancient. He definitely knows that one of the crafts was ancient, that they like dug up in an old site. And so like, I think that they've been here a long time. They've been hiding it for a long time. Because if your enemy has it, like if we've been reverse engineering these things forever, then the other side doesn't know it. We could be pretending like we're aliens driving their crafts around all of their sites and looking at what they're doing. I feel like it's just a spy game of, there are certain militaries and governments in the world that have captured crafts, reverse engineered them. And so now we're all pretending like nobody's done it. And so Grusch in particular, he worked for the Department of Defense. He was hired in the UAP task force to learn about this stuff. So all of his accounts are from firsthand witnesses, but none of them are his. And so he's a whistleblower because I think because he didn't believe in any of this stuff. And now it's like, oh shit, if this is real, then the American public needs to know that. I mean, like, what an injustice. Like, just picture that version of the story where if any of this is real and it is being hidden, what an injustice to hide it all from us. And I personally think it might be because of the technology that we could have. We could all
that's what a lot of people think, but it's nice to think that, but it's if your narrative, and I think this is why, like, especially now, a lot of Republicans are attracted to it. It's like a narrative about the big bad. And I'm not saying I love the federal government, and they should never be questioned or whatever examined, but like the big bad federal government like is holding back all of this human progress in order to keep us in a perpetual state of whatever war and suffering and da. But that's a narrative that's attractive, and so then you fill in the blanks of those details. But going backwards for a second, why can't it just be regular secret U.S. technology? I think I probably talked about this last time. Like, this is all still just what you're saying. It just has nothing to do with aliens.
Yeah,
I think it's because it's too awesome. Like we wouldn't make it awesome.
What?
That TikTok thing is cool.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, but then maybe it's Chinese or Russian or who knows, technology or because the point that Mick West,
it's a little racist, Ridley, to say that the thing that looks like a grain of rice is Chinese.
That was what it says. Tic Tac. So I think it looks like a one of those big furry hats that Russian people wear, but just smooth and white.
I can't
That
tell you
racist?
how happy I was that AOC was there. You know what I mean? Because they're going like, hey, we're going to tell you, I can't tell you this in a public setting, but I can tell you guys where to look. And so despite because here's a funny thing too, the president of NASA was like, oh, you guys are into this now? Like, we'll give you a report within a month. And I'm like, dude, you guys have been sidestepping reports for decades, you know, and you're going to give us a report in a month. So
here's something I'm going to the NASA point. Listen, this is why I get annoyed with all this talk, because, you know, in about a year and change, I think it's October 2024, we're going to launch, NASA's going to launch this Clipper, some sort of probe. They're going to go and they're going to fly past Jupiter's moon, Europa, because they think that maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, there is water underneath the surface. I think it's like an icy surface or something like that. And then maybe they'll discover through collecting data that like that water could maybe possibly, hopefully contain, or at least be theoretically habitable to like life. So my point is saying like, that's where all this effort and money and time and the greatest minds and, you know, and science in our country are like spending their efforts to hopefully maybe discover the possibility of microbial alien life on a moon millions of miles away. And the theory is that like, no, they're actually idiots for wasting their time doing that. There's like intelligent human life all around us. Like they're like, NASA's like, no, motherfucker, there isn't any. Like, pay attention to the actual alien life we might discover. That's, yes, not as interesting because it's fucking going to be tiny little things we see in our microscope, but it's way more real than aliens zipping around.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you're saying that NASA's out of one side of their mouth lying about advanced alien life visiting us, and the other side of their mouth, like putting all their money and effort and brain power into simply discovering the possibility of the first alien life in theory humanity's ever discovered on a moon millions of miles away. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
Sadly, NASA being a government entity, you know what I mean? I personally feel like the timeline release of what's going on is going to be slow. No, I keep saying this, nobody's even talking about what the next step of billionaires is. And it's these space companies mining asteroids. And so the reason why we have the Space Force is to now then defend all of this private mining that's going to be happening.
What's that got to do with anything? I mean, that's real. People talk about that. I don't know about the Space Force thing, but yeah, obviously, because that's going to justify why there's, I mean, you don't get a return on investment sending, you know, stuff into space just for tourism.
Right now, if anything happens in space, you can't really say where it came from. You can't really prove who shot down what. And so there's satellites being shot down. And as we move forward into mining space, I'm just saying like that.
But what's that got to do with the alien stuff?
Like I said, I believe in some of the alien stuff, but I'm like, I think it's to sneak in the way that we go forward legally, you know, like, I think that the reason why a lot of these UFO videos are top secret are because you don't want to let the enemies know what you're capable of tracking, what technologies you're using to witness these things. And also because we've reverse engineered some, because this is one of the crazy things that they brought up in this hearing was there were defense contractors that have some of the recovered crafts. That was yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It's all allegedly, but if you take it as maybe that's true, it would be nice. My hopeful brain says it would be nice to put these things that are out of control in check.
The UFO, you're talking about the dark like money programs or the aliens?
A little bit of both, you know what I mean? Like sure, the dark money programs, the defense contracts, these defense companies that are using these, you know what I mean? Like we have, and I'm not saying like, hey, you need to let us know all of the secret vehicles that you're working on. But if they're reverse engineering crafts from non-human intelligent entities, like, God damn it, we fucking need to know that they exist just so that we can, I think, know our place in the universe a little better as we try to govern ourselves, you know?
But what if they don't exist? I mean, that's the thing. You're like, oh, why won't my girlfriend just tell me that she's cheating on me? And you're like, maybe she's not. Maybe you're just lining yourself up.
Even if they don't exist, we should have the conversation to be ready. I think the conversation is worth having, just to, even so, have our place in the universe if they don't exist, but assuming that one day we might meet life that's more intelligent than us. What are the protocols? But
like I said earlier, NASA is endeavoring on a mission to discover life in our solar system.
The reason why NASA, I think, is such bullshit in that realm is that release of information. Like, you know, when they first said that there was water on Mars and on the moon, a year prior, in both situations, it was like scientists from other countries were like, prove that, but it didn't count until NASA said it. NASA is like the leader in what is recognized as truth, even if these truths come out before them. And so like, and it's because we had already spent money on sending a craft out there to investigate it. Well, they figured it out before we got there. We still got to send it up. I don't know. I'm very skeptical on them, who used to be a private company, who's now a government company, being in charge of, if you read what NASA, if you read their bylaws, it says that they aren't allowed to release the information if they do find life, because they need to study it before they make any sort of announcement. Like, you know, in the 90s when they said, oh, we found these worms in this rock from Mars, and like, not that the community went off about it, but they were wrong. They then came back and said, no, they look like fossils, but they're not. At any rate, despite all that,
it happens all the time, though. That's okay. I mean, that's the point of scientific discovery, is sometimes you're wrong. You know, you misinterpret information.
In the same vein, though, like when France says that there's water on the moon, and we don't accept it until we announce it, I think that does not work for science, because of the
well,
NASA
why not?
entity.
I mean, I don't know the specifics of this particular thing. Now France said that there was water on, what did you say, water on Mars? Or
there was water on the moon like a year before NASA announced it.
Is there water on the moon?
Yeah, but there's basically ice frozen in the dust. It's not in the form of liquid water, but there's ice on the poles.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I don't know, like, you know.
But they're scientists. Well, to get off of France and to get back into
let's make this all about France.
I just we gotta kind of, I think we got about 10 minutes left. So like, what are the big,
oh Jesus, we hardly even scratched the surface.
What are well, we're going to continue the conversation once we get off Schraub Home Video, but like for Schraub Home Video, we need like a kind of clean break here. So were there any like blockbuster, like big ticket fucking like announcements that came out of this, or anything that I should care about?
It depends on who you ask. I mean, if you ask, you know, your average UFO believer, I think they'd say, yeah, it was incredible. Your average skeptic would say, there was no physical evidence in the presentation. It was more of just like, this is what I heard. And
so it's just kind of like an official version of this podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, except there was no,
the main
there was no
witness.
Wade. There's no Wade. There's no one saying, even AOC was like, where can I find this shit? You know, I mean, which is fine, but somebody should be like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm going to call forth a witness that's a psychologist who talks about, you know, who's done studies on pilots who have been, you know, confused by things they've seen,
Sure.
you know, or whatever. You know, there's nobody doing that.
Is it over or is it ongoing?
NASA's going to come out with something soon. These guys, after this congressional hearing, they're going to continue their research to try to open up more doors. I think the main points were this. One of them was this guy claimed that they have recovered crafts from non-human origins, and within those recovered crafts, they recovered non-human biologicals. And then also, I think the biggest thing
could be fish.
Touche.
Could be.
I think the biggest thing from this whole hearing was to further point out the proof that most UAP witnesses are commercial pilots who probably used to be military pilots, a lot of them, but they do not have a place to report UAPs, and there's a stigma attached to it. So for at least 40 years, like, you can't report a UAP. You just keep going. You report it, you're gonna get your desk wings, So like, and then so even the UAP Act, whatever, or the UAP reporting program, they didn't have a concrete place for people to report stuff. And so the military, they have opened the doors to military pilots reporting UAPs. Commercial, not even close. It's still not worth anybody's time to report it because it's bad on you, waste of time. You all of a sudden you're not a credible pilot. There's still not a credible place to do that. And so if anything comes from this, it would be great to then now look at the numbers, because after the last UAP thing, I think the military pilot reports went up by like hundreds of percent because they just didn't have a place to report anything before. So that's the thing.
And also, supposedly, those Congress people I rattled off earlier, Burchett, Gates, Luna, and Moskovitz, are trying to form a permanent congressional committee to investigate. And in theory, they would follow up on all of David Grusch's claims. And he kept saying, like, I can't tell you right now, but if we go into my closet in a skiff, I can spill the beans. So if that happens, then they can go, okay, shit, the aliens are, according to what someone else told him, are hidden in Wright-Patterson's basement. Let's go there. We got to, however, a subpoena, whatever the fuck they do, a warrant. The Congress goes and kicks down doors and starts finding all this shit. If it's there, then they'll find it or whatever. But at the same time, the Senate is like introduced some amendment to the defense spending bill that will be voted on in October to like all UAP information has to be revealed, and if there's anything being held in secret locations, including by the defense contractors, and they have to turn it over to the U.S. government, that's going to be voted on. So that might come of this. Something might come of that. But once again, that could just mean that like our own technology might be super classified, and they might go like, Ixnay on the fucking, revealing this shit. Like,
it's kind of like how
this could be public.
That balloon went from Alaska all the way to Montana. There was a big snafu, big like, what do we do about this? How do we report about this? And then we finally shot it down, and they didn't tell us anything more about it other than who it belonged to, which is also suspect. In the realm of secrecy, I don't know. I mean, that's what's holding back a lot of stuff, is the levels of secrecy.
So, somebody, I think it was Mick West again, was talking about, if anyone watching this is interested in the skeptical take, he is really good at debunking a lot of this stuff, if you believe him or not. He'll just show you.
I'm sorry,
this guy named
it?
Mick West. Mick West, he's this British guy. He used to be I think he was like a video game programmer for Tony Hawk. But he just makes these videos where he goes like, well,
have you ever played Tony Hawk? There's so many aliens in that, dude.
Well, no, he talks about how he understands how to recreate kind of physics. Basically he can like reverse engineer something like those Go Fast videos and explain, well, this is what it could be. The camera's moving at this speed in this direction, and so it creates the illusion of speed and from the object moving the other direction. So he'll just break everything down. He talks about how, like, look, according to David Grusch, this is a top secret program that's been going for decades, that's involving the craziest shit ever in history. And it's also been spread across like the international community because, there was stuff found in Italy that was then brought to America, and presumably other countries have encountered this stuff, because why would it just be America, obviously? And so it's this giant international hidden conspiracy that for some reason, no one has ever gotten any hard information out before. Whereas, Edward Snowden was able to get shit that was, believe me, stuff that the government wanted to have hidden as badly as they want UFOs hidden. So why has there never been an Edward Snowden for this stuff? There's only been a guy who heard something in the break room. No one's ever been able to get a USB drive.
Who's the guy from Nebraska who I can't think of his name, who hacked into the NASA site and he pulled up some shit. I can't think of his name. I'll look it up for the future, but he pulled up some crazy shit and people have been like relating some of the things coming out now with what he pulled up. But there's only been one guy, you know. I mean, how do you
hold on? I'm looking at an article. Hackers, Nebraska judicial branch attacked by hackers, but no sensitive data compromised. Is that
now
the story?
This guy from Nebraska
obviously that's
hacked
not the
NASA.
story.
And
Jesus.
This is
he
the only
was
thing
looking,
that came up when I Googled Nebraska hacking.
he was
NASA.
looking for proof of life, and he pulled up a bunch of fucking McKnight. Oh, hold on.
I mean, how come this isn't the story? If your answer to my question is no, there was an Edward Snowden, and I can't remember his name, and I don't know
Gary
what he pulled
McKinnon.
up, like,
Gary
so that's the
McKinnon.
problem. Either this guy's bullshit, or like we really dropped the ball on apparently the biggest hard evidence reveal of UFO shit ever.
2002 perpetuated the biggest military computer hack of all time. He states he was merely looking for evidence of free energy suppression and a cover-up of UFO activity. This is Wikipedia I'm reading. 2012, after a series of legal proceedings, he was blocked extradition to the United States. Anyways, what did he find?
Oh, so he is kind of he like fleed, huh?
97 United States military and NASA computers over a 13-month period, 2001, 2002. So he's got like old school information.
Yeah, but once again, he's just claiming this. He didn't offer up this stuff. It just said UFO hacker tells what he found. Well, why?
So Ridley, you're firmly like there's no aliens and this is all just hearsay.
I mean, I'm trying to be, because it's the most reasonable explanation. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Like, after listening to you guys, it's kind of like, yeah, there's nothing earth shattering about this new thing. It's just more of like, yeah, trust us, like these things are out there, which is kind of like, what do I do with that? And I am sort of apathetic to it, because I really don't think my life will change at all if aliens show up. And I say that a lot and I repeat myself, so I don't mean to, but like, so for me, it's hard to even care about this until there's like something more. Then I'm kind of like, just call me when you have something. Stop just like updating me on your arguments, you know.
Right. And I completely agree with you. And it's about time. And I'm excited for what's going to be revealed, because there's better people looking in those directions. Because without Congress looking, without like people having a reason to even believe in looking, it's like, now is a good time. Like, if you got shit, bring it out now, you know?
Right.
Once again, I mean, look, here's another
But also,
point
really, real quick, couldn't this just be like the way to corral, you know, like when they offer gun buyback programs? It's really just so that they can get your name on a list. So couldn't this UAP thing just be a way to like just start a new list of everyone? Like,
the CEO of Lockheed Martin's like, okay, here you go. Like, what was his name? It's the CEO of Lockheed Martin. All right, put him on the list.
Johnny Lockheed.
Yeah. I mean,
wait, but yeah,
that's a good theory.
Ridley,
Yeah.
just finish what you were saying, and then we got to sign off of.
No, I just said. I mean, I think my point was, you know, I said there's been no Edward Snowden, and then Willie mentioned this guy Gary McKinnon, who I'm unclear even what he did. I mean, he sounds like he did hack into NASA, but like he didn't offer up any proof. Like, meaning there, if he got stuff off computers, I don't think he got it to anybody. Did he? I don't know. I haven't been able to thoroughly vet this.
Right. There is some stuff out
Wikipedia.
there, but yeah, it's all
It
loose.
feels like if he had, I mean, there were multiple movies about Snowden. It was like a huge thing. And that was just confirming what we all knew, that the government was spying on us en masse, right? So like, obviously, if this guy had real alien shit, we would know about it, right? Like, he's a self-proclaimed whistleblower. He's fled the country. If he had anything real, we would know. Because who's stopping
Yeah, I would
him
hope
from
so. There's a
releasing it?
Wikipedia page.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't trust the Wikipedia page to reveal anything that he revealed. At any rate,
No, but like the Snowden thing was such a huge leak that you couldn't ignore it. If there was a leak that said anything about aliens, it would be the biggest news. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, I listen. I'm just saying, alien news, even with UAPs, is not alien news. So I'm just saying, like, we'll do a Gary McKinnon episode soon, but this is bigger than that, and it's still not a big deal, you know. So,
but yeah,
So-
but the whole point is, like, I just don't think he got anything. We can do that episode, but it feels like if he got anything, it would be huge news.
Also, you know, the final point I'll make is that, like, if there's all these UFOs, UAPs constantly zipping around, like, they clearly like want to be seen because they could obviously evade our, you know, cameras or whatever. If they wanted to, they could cloak themselves. So they want to be seen, but they don't want to be seen too close or too clearly. Like, there's enough cameras that one of them could just hover right in front of us.
Maybe they
And any camera.
What about this? Sometimes they forget to turn on the cloaking device.
I think they're
Well, that
just
would
doing their
explain-
business, and it doesn't matter what we are, who we are, you know what I mean? Like, we're
All right,
we're nothing.
we really have to say goodbye to the Schraub home video audience. So thanks for watching. We will see you next week. We're going to continue the conversation on our podcast, Real Life Sci-Fi. Just look it up anywhere, and go to patreon.com/Real Life Sci-Fi to subscribe for 2 bonus episodes. If you're on Twitch, stick around. We're going to continue the conversation here with Ryan Ridley. But goodbye, Shrub home video. Well, let's do it this way. Ridley, what would it take? And maybe this exists in Willie's notes. What would it take for you to believe in aliens? The aliens were here.
I don't know, like proof, evidence, like more than
Like
just
what?
I heard.
Like what?
I guess like showing the world a piece of alien technology and having like and this is key, like UFO believingly biased scientists analyze it, because a lot of times you'll find that when you are presented with people who are supposed to be legitimate, they're like predisposed to like believe in aliens and UFOs and shit, you know?
Sure.
So I'd want it to be like verified through like an independent body, international
But
body.
how would that? There's so many. So here's the thing: the people who are more prone to believe it are, but then the people who aren't are also not, right? So like, how do you convince them? Like, because there's already alien autopsy and shit, and it's like, obviously I think it's fake, but that's the thing. It's like, if they, what would the evidence have to be in addition to these independent scientists you're talking about? Like, what would it be? Would it like a live alien addressing the world would probably do it, right? But like outside of that,
let me also, in the same way though, let me address 2 things. One, you're not going to get guys like Neil deGrasse Tyson like researching aliens because he can't talk about it until it's proven science.
Well, I was listening to him, and I never really liked him very much, but I had what's it called?
Premonition?
An
Orgasm?
epiphany. I had an epiphany when it comes to old NDT. He's a little Asperger's-y, and he's a teacher, and so I listened to this really long podcast with him, And it totally put it into perspective, like why he's not a dick. It's because he's just a teacher and he just wants everyone to be learning all the time. So
Yeah.
when you say anything that's not right, he's going to stop you and be like, well, that's wrong. And here's what it actually is. And it just makes him seem like a dick. But if you picture him in front of a lecture hall doing that, it's like, oh, yeah, this guy's just a teacher. So
yeah.
I turned the corner. Long story short, I turned the corner on Neil deGrasse Tyson. I kind of like him now.
Now, if you go back, so here's my perspective on Carl Sagan. I believe that Carl Sagan knew that there were UAPs, entities visiting here, but he could not talk about it without losing all credibility. So what did he do instead? Was invite people to question the possibility of it. If you look at everything that he's done, that's all he's ever done is like push forward the notion that we are not alone without saying it. You know, he's never said it. Hey, let's put this gold disc. Let's put all of our stuff on here.
But why do you think that he knew it rather than he just really wants to explore it?
Because at the time when he was being always asked to be the head of science, astronomy, all these things, was the time when there was a lot of bad decision making. These entities. It was like in the realm of when UFOs were becoming a topic. What would you do if you were the president back then or someone important? Like you would hire these specifically smart people to be in your cabinet of, hey, why don't you guys look this up and give me a report? So he was always for decades on the top of any list for anything, to be like, you look at this, you be in charge of this, you head this, you be in charge of what the fucking Voyager.
So you think he has actual proof?
If you watch the Cosmos series, thinking that he knew it had some proof, and you watch that whole series again, it's like, oh shit, this is just like inviting you to understand that we are stupid, the universe is huge, and we're not the only intelligent things out there. That's when I watch the series, that's how I watch it, from that.
Yeah, because
and
that's your bias.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't want to watch it with your bias.
You know, when I look at you, all I see is I'm trying to think of, God damn it, I don't see Teddy. I'm such a huge Teddy Ruxpin fan that when I look at your screen, all I see is Teddy Ruxpin. Even though it's just a tiny sliver sticking out of the right side of the frame. That's how into Teddy Ruxpin I am. So I just like, holy shit, this guy loves Teddy Ruxpin. Look, he decorated his whole room with Teddy Ruxpin.
I never had one growing up. I have 5 now.
But my point is, you know, Teddy Ruxpin is just like, there's like the tiniest hint of Teddy Ruxpin. It's not a prominent feature in your room, yet if I was really into it, that's all I would notice.
This one works.
Wade, you get my point, right?
I understand it.
All right. I love Teddy.
If your name was Carl,
but that's kind of my
like,
point
man,
too.
All
but
I know is that Carls are awesome because this guy's name is Carl. So am I.
But that's my point too, which is like, it's such a, I mean, is this more polarizing than like any other like topic? Because the people who believe it, like you said earlier, believe it, and the people who don't just straight up don't. And it's like, I've got 2 of them. I've got one on each side here, and it's like you guys are just like bouncing shit off of each other, and nothing is going in, you know?
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'm listening.
Yeah, me too. I'm not trying to sway anybody's mind. And
but that's not. I'm making a point that's bigger than the. I'm not talking about this podcast. I'm talking about. I don't think that until a fucking alien ship like comes down, the people who don't believe in aliens won't, and the people who do always will. Like,
yeah, and I agree with you.
Like, just look at fucking coronavirus, and it's like half of the people just decided that it wasn't a thing, and so it's like
I'm just saying we're lucky that we can talk about this and not come to blows. You know what I mean? I feel like most of the world, anything that's polarizing, like they don't even want to hear it. They don't want to hear what the other belief things, and that's just sad.
I'm for now, I'm with Ridley. I don't think there is anything. I feel like if there was something, somebody would be in, they would be obsessed, they would be passionate about like getting that out, right?
I
And
mean,
like,
this guy David Grusch clearly is, it's just that he didn't.
yeah, but he's going to the dumbest people in the world to do it, like fucking representatives that.
But you have that's the way in, man. It is the only way in.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You go on fucking television. Like you make it entertainment. You don't make
What
it
about
fucking
the
C-SPAN.
what about the Las Vegas alien with the police showing up? And did you see that?
No, but that's not my point. I'm saying you got to go about it a different way. You've got to do it like fucking get some hidden cameras, get some fucking microphones, steal some info, like just going in front of, is it Congress or the House?
Well, that's the
Going
same.
in. Well, yeah, but I don't know the difference, and so it can't be
Congress,
both,
I guess,
right?
is the general term, and then there's the House and the Senate. It was the House.
House and okay. They're the dumbest people. They're so much dumber than I am. But I don't know. It's like if you want to make something boring, yeah, take it to DC.
Well, I mean, I disagree because it's legitimizing. So if the guy was just in his basement saying like, "Hi, I saw aliens," because
okay, first of all, that is not what I said. I said go fucking like do a show. Get some
Beyonce's
footage.
gonna let him do the halftime Super Bowl show.
No, get a fucking camera. Go to the base. Get footage of it.
Well, that's my point. He's not doing that.
That's my point. You're agreeing with me by yelling at me.
Oh, fuck you. I'm done with this.
But their main point was that credible witnesses don't have anywhere to even report this stuff. So if you go back and look at the UFOs, UAPs that were reported that are on record, that they have actual like what's the air traffic controller thing called, where they have proof of these things actually being there, plus with the pilot's witness testimony, it just opens the door for actual UFO reporting. Like the big one between Alaska and Japan, where there was a supposed like gigantic UFO. They have the radar record data of it, and they have different pilot accounts of it. Just stuff like that, where you can add these things together, but they're not anything, because all it is somebody saying something and proof that what they saw actually showed up on radar. How's that not enough for people? An expert pilot witness and radar data. There's so many UFO, UAP accounts that have both of those in them, but they're not looked at because, and I forget about.
Well, who are you talking to that's not enough? I mean, like, I don't know. It just doesn't like. It's kind of like if you do or don't believe, there's no difference. You can it's kind of like God. Just right now, you can sort of choose whichever you want. Right?
Yeah. I mean, because I guess right now there's as much proof. I mean, people have claimed that they've had encounters with God and heard God talking, and this, same number of people probably have claimed that they've seen aliens. Right?
Or Bigfoot.
This, by the way, I Googled the Las Vegas thing. So it was a family and they heard a crash, and then they went outside and they saw these 9-foot tall beings they described as non-human with giant eyes, and they called 911 and the cops came. And the police said the officers conducted a preliminary investigation but were unable to find anything. So there you go. I mean, once again, it's like if an alien ship crashes and a bunch of aliens come out, you'd think you'd find something.
But even in that, what's great and lame about it at the same time is that, like, hey, the police showed up and the story made the national news. So like that story would have never made national news 3 years ago.
But here's my concern is that I think that's more of a testament that like the public is getting and the media is getting less skeptical and applying less critical thinking. I mean, when you watch like the media cover these stories, they're kind of treating it leaning more towards aliens are real, when isn't it their duty to be like, well, hold on, like let me ask some basic questions, let me bring on a skeptic representing the other side, you know? I mean, like the media, it's not a good thing the media is like getting more open to this, because once again, there's not been any more evidence.
I think it's a good thing to prove that the media is bullshit the whole time. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, but then that's having it both ways. You're like, that's good that the media is reporting aliens. It's also good that it's exposing the media are idiots for reporting aliens, right? Is that what you just
said? This is the problem with monetizing the news is now there are no like investigative reporters anymore. Like there's no like fucking bloodhound like reporter who like gets a set and then like follows it to the top, you know? Like that doesn't happen. When's the last time that happened? Fucking Nixon?
No, I think it's I mean, I'm trying to think.
Well, Spotlight, I guess you could do the Spotlight thing, the Catholic Church thing. I'm just saying it's like that's what we need. We need a journalist to like really become the alien dude and fucking look into it and try to get the answers. Why isn't there one of those guys?
Look, I'm sure there have been over the years, you know.
Well, then they must have sucked at it.
I don't want to bring this guy up, but like Stephen Greer, the muscle-bound UFO researcher, he's actively trying to communicate with aliens before our government does, even though our government already has. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, let's all meditate and let's all communicate with them ourselves. We don't need bureaucracy speaking to intelligent life. And that's the perspective I love, is like, hey, if you believe in aliens, go try to talk to him, man. Don't tell your senator about him.
I mean, I agree with that. And I also think like fucking do some journalism, man. Get onto one of those bases, like break some laws. You know?
Well, I don't think Woodward and Bernstein like necessarily.
Well, they had Deep Throat. They had Deep Throat. They had sources who were breaking laws.
I don't know. Was Deep Throat breaking a law? I don't know.
Well, he was definitely risking his
telling tales out of school.
Wait, Willie, what are you doing? Because we should wrap this up if you're gonna pee, because I gotta pee.
Oh, let's just take a quick break. You want to take a quick break and then keep going?
Well, let's end the episode. It's been like an hour 20. And then we'll do more after this.
Oh, great. Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Go to patreon.com/real-life-sci-fi to listen to our 2 bonus episodes. We're going to continue this conversation with Ridley, probably about more alien stuff, but who knows? It could get crazy. It could get sexy. It could get scandalous. And if you're on the Twitch, stick around. We'll be back in, we're going to pee. We'll be back in the length of time that it takes to pee.
The show that's going to get uploaded to your podcast feed is over.
Yep. Unless
you edit this footage altogether into a concise form.
Most of this bonus.
It's 3 episodes.
Yeah. It's our no episode where we catch up before the show. Then we do a 1-hour show. And then we do a off-topic bonus. So
wait, I got to do the sign off. Oh, wait. Oh, I guess it would be the same. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Real Life Sci-Fi.